are back. Welcome to another week of Behind the Lens. And it's October already. Hard to believe. I've been promising, I've been teasing, I've been taunting you for weeks about this week's show. We have here in studio today the incredible, the wonderful Lisa Ann Walter is here.
Woo! I'm wooing myself.
Well, as well you should.
Thank you.
And
That's sweet.
And of course, the uber talented Joe Burke.
Very nice. Thank you.
Hyphenate. Uber talented hyphenate Joe Burke.
He writes, he directs, he edits, he can do his own cinematography, and he produces. But he is here today as the star of Dependence Day.
He is the big time star.
He is. And of course, as all of our regular
Thank
listeners know, you've heard Michael David Lynch has already been on the show twice.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hold him back.
You can't hold him back. Michael's been on twice.
Hang on, I have to use my cough button. Hang on. Do we have a cough button?
That was it.
That was it. That's the cough.
If you want to cough, just let me know. I'll turn your mic off.
Let's not even do that. We're an intimate group.
That's it.
The Behind the Lens audience is we're a tight group of people.
We're gonna cough together.
We are.
And of course,
let's all clear our throats, people. I didn't get a rumph out of that guy.
And of course, it's funny you say that because so many of our Behind the Lens listeners are industry people, people behind the lens and below the line.
Sure.
I love that.
So for all of you directors out there, casting people, Joe, Lisa, they're here.
Hey,
Listen.
live in the studio, baby. This is
Work.
fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good call. And generally, if you, I will show up for a good craft service. Just know that. I have standards, but if you're offering decent craft service, that's really all I require.
Which that explains why you did Coffee Date 10 years ago.
I don't even remember if I used their craft service table. I think I was in and out so quickly that I never got to see what was on. Plus, I was mom-orexic at the time. That was post-divorce. I really wasn't eating.
But there was coffee.
There was probably coffee, which I'm a fan. I like a good cup of Joe. Hey, Joe!
Hey,
Hi, speaking of Joe.
Here I am.
And so that, and just so everybody knows, Michael David Lynch will be joining us shortly to join in the frivolity.
Is he calling in?
He's calling in.
That's great.
Good. I'll get to take a break.
Calling in from Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Wow.
Hasn't he left yet?
I don't know.
don't
You know
think
what?
so.
This is a good thing if you've got some below-the-line people that listen in. So Michael David Lynch is extraordinarily talented in terms of he wrote the movie or co-wrote the movie, right?
It was a great collaboration. He wrote it, he directed it, he produced it, he
And
shot cinematography,
He
edited.
edited. He did everything.
He's
It's
machine.
his baby.
Yeah.
It's
It's
his
his
baby.
absolute baby.
And almost a one-man PR squad.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Joe just said to me because we went to the South Dakota Film Festival, which was lovely. Got to hang out with Stephen Tobolowsky, and those of you who know the world of acting. I mean, there is not a role this man hasn't played. If I have to explain it, Ned Ryerson, Needle Nose Ned the Head from Groundhog Day.
Yeah, he's great. He's so funny.
Got the shingles real bad senior year. I dated your sister till you told me not to. Like, you can't stop saying these things to him. So it was a really fun festival. But Joe said, so what did you do? And I said, the people were great. And, we were really smart and savvy and very welcoming. The whole town was into it. And he goes, well, but what did you do during the day? And I said, I was at a film festival with Michael. What do you think we did? And he went, promote the film nonstop 24 hours a day. I'm like, yes, that's what you do. You walk around and you talk about Dependence
and
Day.
It's great. And, and it's because of that hard work that Mike's put in and everyone. It's
right.
It's what got us here to this point where we got the movie opening limited theatrical release this weekend, then VOD in 2 weeks, and it's very exciting. So
so the what I
he's
was
pushing that train.
Yeah, so the people that's the logo for his company.
We push
We push trains because anybody that works in this business, whether you're working on a TV show or you aspire to do more, you're a shooter like Michael does for his day job.
Yep.
But you want to write and direct. You know that nobody's going to do it for you. You gotta make the story happen. You got to get it on there. And luckily, we live in a world where this can do that.
Yep.
where it wasn't like this before, but there is no reason not to create.
And the new Independence Day clothing line that Lisa and I are sporting today.
Yeah, so yes, when you see the video later, people, you will see this lovely clothing line. And this clothing line can it be purchased online by the average consumer?
It can. Mike wants everyone to know that a Independence Day shirt is waiting for them at dependenceday.com. You can get shirts. They have ladies' shirts, men's shirts, T-shirts.
Well, I just want to describe the shirts real
Please.
quickly because people are going to say, and then hopefully you'll see the video.
Yes.
But it is an amazing piece of artwork that they did for the post. Tell me the name of the guy who designed it.
Tim. Yeah, our buddy Tim. He hand painted.
The poster.
It's almost a throwback to like those 70s movies.
Like a Drew Strausen. Am I saying that right? Drew Strausen, who did like the Star Wars posters, Police Academy. It's a very cool painted. Digitally painted poster that he designed on both these shirts, and
it features a shot of me where I, honest to God, look like I'm on a pinball machine.
Yes, you do,
That's
actually.
There is so much boobs happening there.
Or like Angeline perched on top of a poster
Thank
on her
you.
pink car.
It's a redheaded Angeline.
With that black shirt you had on today, you're kind of in the black shirt.
That's why I'm featuring.
That's why she's
well,
featuring.
I want to claim a little bit of the success of how this shirt looks, because when the original silk screener sent the first tank tops, they were men's tank tops. I took one look at it and went, Michael, the armholes are cut down to like my waist and they're really wide. It won't be tight on me. And the thing is down on my stomach. And believe me, underneath where my boobs are, it's just going to crinkle up. Nobody's going to see it. So we had to remake them into a girl's stretchy racer back.
It looks great now.
Thank you.
It really does.
No.
I helped it, right?
Yes.
Thanks.
I was
Thank
going
you,
to
Jen.
say, the fit is fabulous.
I can't wait for people to see the video now.
Yeah.
It fits great.
But-
and everyone can get one if they want.
And so
They should get one.
and I have to say, and I'm so glad you pointed that out to them, Lisa, because so often with the merchandising that comes out for a lot of films and all, they don't think about that.
People wear, like, guys will wear a T-shirt if it's something that they think is cool or whatever. And in this case, the artwork really is awesome.
Yeah, it's really great.
So, and if you like kind of the message of the movie, which I'm sure we'll get to,
We're going to get to
momentarily,
Yes.
but if you get behind the idea of the female being the breadwinner and the guy, and they just want to make their relationship work, and you want to rock the idea of it and put it on your chest.
Yeah.
Great. But if you're a girl, I don't care how much you like the movie, you're not doing it unless it also looks cute.
It has to fit right.
Right.
It has to fit right.
Yeah.
You know,
And they're comfy. They are comfy, and the material's nice, and it's not like a stickery thing that's like hard. It's like this is like.
Oh my gosh,
nice
you're
shirt.
so right. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh, I've got T-shirts where it's
moves.
like on it,
That's
and then
moving.
You'll never wear those T-shirts, but these
No.
ones you
Never.
wear because this is actually comfy. So
yeah.
there you go.
Oh,
Plug.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I have an Expendables 3 T-shirt that they gave us for promotion for the
Right.
junket, and it has the stickery EX3 on the front, and it's like you move, and I like to wear it when I sleep because it just doesn't fit right, because here it is, it's a guy's sleeveless T-shirt, but it doesn't, the stickery part doesn't even bend.
Oh, it's the worst.
okay. Question.
Yes.
Because this is solid. Because
Yes.
we've just spent literally the last 4 minutes of the limited time we have with you
Yes.
pimping merch. Okay,
know.
so let's. I mean, we didn't mean to, but we kind of did.
Well,
But we
last
did.
night I was thinking I want to bring Debbie a shirt. I talked to Mike; he's out of town, but we have to get you a shirt.
I'm just going to take this one off right
No,
now and hand it to her.
We have to get you a
Take it.
shirt.
That's
I
good
wanted to bring you
video.
one as a
No,
gift.
that's
No.
clickbait. No, I know
No.
how this.
Oh, you're taking the shirt off
stuff
right now.
Yeah.
Now you're in your
No,
bra.
you're
On
not.
camera.
Now she's just sitting here in her bra. This is
No.
interesting.
No, I have no bra. I'm just sitting here topless.
Now the bra's off.
Dude, know how this works. All right.
I was slow playing it. I was kind of building up the anticipation.
This is why I love working with this man.
That's and it's like, and the chemistry that you guys have sitting here, and I've seen it on all the pictures and all the promotion that Michael has been doing.
Yep.
You know, pimping the film for
It's
months.
what you got to do.
For months and months. The chemistry amongst the cast is so good, and we're going to get into all of that in a minute. But let me finish the rest of the housekeeping to let people know that yes, the godfather and guru of the Phantasm franchise, Don Coscarelli, will also be calling in
Woo!
at 11:30
That's
today.
exciting.
It's very exciting, and I have to say, I adore Don.
Do you have any Phantasm T-shirts?
I have no Phantasm merchandise. Even worse than that,
What?
I worked on Beastmaster with Don back in the 80s.
And got nothing?
I got nothing. It was,
That's a jip.
hey, the paychecks cleared the bank.
That's all you need. But this
How
was
was
going to
craft
be my
service, though, is the real question.
this was going to be my question for you. Of all the movies that you worked on, and what is your one or two pieces of crew gift that you kept? What are the ones that you actually wear?
I got no crew gifts in the years that I was doing film and TV production. I mean, I produce now, but I'm too cheap to do merchandising for the people in the films that I work on.
I just did a horror movie and got an ice cream scooper because it was called the ice cream truck, and I use that.
But I mean,
a Parent Trap backpack. I use that.
I have tons of stuff that I've gotten back from the days of video, and then swag. You know, they cut down on swag for the press a few years ago after the IRS clamped down on things,
kind of stuff.
But I got to tell you, I've got some great backpacks. Backpacks are great.
Hats? Do you do the hats?
I don't wear hats. I would get the hats and give them to my nephews.
So I don't.
Or my dad when he was
These are
alive.
the hats that I've kept, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
War of the Worlds, because it says wow, and because it was such a quick production, but there's hardly anything that exists from it.
Right.
So I kept the War of the Worlds one, the Parent Trap one.
Obviously.
I kept that one. And I kept a little movie that I did called Farm Sluts, which is not what it seems. Because if you put Lisa Ann, who's also a porn star, and Farm Sluts together, it's dangerous. But I kept it for one reason and one reason only.
Gone wrong. Yes.
Yeah, it was a very funny story. It was Chris Parnell who does this crazy thing in his garage and gets caught with an animal that they think he's having his way with, and it's not, but it makes it around the office, and it's a very funny sort of mistaken identity, and his life just gets worse and worse. And my hat says Farm Sluts, and I keep it so that in case my kids act up, because I have 15-year-old twin boys, I'm going to pick them up at school wearing that hat.
Yeah.
That's just a threat.
And that'll be the last time they act up.
That's just my underlying threat.
Hey, Brian, did you connect somebody here with us? Aha! We have the infamous writer, director, producer, cinematographer, and editor, train pusher himself, Michael David Lynch.
Woo!
Hey guys from Maui.
From
How you guys doing?
Your life is
So what's
hard.
how do you say hi in Hawaiian? I just went to Hawaii.
Mahalo?
Yeah, mahalo.
Yeah. Mahalo.
Shaka.
Yeah.
Are you
Mahalo.
awake? It's much earlier there.
It is. It's 8:12 a.m.
So you'll be very, very proud of Joe and Lisa. They're wearing Dependence Day shirts, pimping the heck out of them.
Yeah, loving you up too. Loving
it.
you up.
So now
They're great. I love them.
Now that all three of you are here on the line, so let's talk about Dependence Day.
Yay.
This charming,
Please.
heartwarming, fun-filled film that, of course, my number one reason to see the film originally was because Lisa was in the film.
Aw,
And
that's so nice of you to say.
Then my number two reason was because Joe was in the film.
Thank you.
Well, you might have heard of me first, but I will say and I am not I'm not that modest a person. Joe rocks this movie.
Absolutely.
I am such a tiny little piece of it. Joe, every single frame, and I've told him this over many times.
means a lot.
Carries the movie.
I find something new about Joe's performance that I love every time I watch it, and I've seen it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's really true in it. It's a nice piece of work.
So,
Thank you very much.
Michael, tell everybody again, for those that weren't listening back in March when you were here the first time talking about Dependence Day, tell everybody again what the film is about. What leads to this endearing, comedic, poor hapless Cam, who you can't help but root for.
Cam is Joe, by the way.
Cam is Joe.
It sounds like a girl's name sometimes, but it's not.
It's not.
Cam, sure. My character.
Yeah, no, Joe Burke. Yeah, it's a heartfelt, hilarious, authentic relationship comedy about the adventures of being in love and making it work. And at the core, it's about this guy Cam who realizes he's not the breadwinner in the relationship, and he realizes he's not where he thought he was in life. And it's about the movie. You kind of see him trying to reclaim where he thinks he should be, like the man in the relationship. And the movie constantly kind of, has a gender swap where in this movie, Alice is the breadwinner. And not only that, but Lisa plays a boss character, and we have women throughout the film that are very strong. So it's also making a commentary on what we see happening in society, where we got a lot of awesome, kick-ass women who are in charge, but haven't really been, recognized in society. So, but the film is, that's that. But it's funny. It's a really funny film that addresses it in funny ways that people can relate to, and that's what I think's been so heartwarming about it. Is at the end of the day, I'm also a guy who believes in love. I've been with my wife for actually October 7th, the day that we have our theatrical release, is 14 and a half years with my wife.
It's both inspiring, their relationship, and annoying. because they continue to be so deeply in love that the rest of us are just like, really? Is that okay?
Right.
We'll all try, but we're not going to get there.
Oh God.
Michael and Chrissy have the match made in heaven.
So let me ask you, Michael, with Joe and Lisa sitting here,
Who do you like better?
Yeah, I'm not going to
Take
ask.
your time on this one, Mike.
I'll tell you this though, I had so much fun letting those two play. Like the scenes with them, like the original scenes. Like I've actually been thinking about, when I get home, trying to rush some, deleted scenes to possibly throw up or not.
Oh
And
gosh,
a lot
let's
of
do
it's gonna
that.
be a lot of
I
Lisa.
want to see it because
It's
I
gonna
never
be
got
a lot
to.
of Lisa.
You got to see.
Yeah,
some of
Definitely
it, but I
to
didn't.
promote the VOD in a couple weeks. Really show some behind the scenes stuff. Would be really fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the shoes are here in the studio, by the way.
The
We have
shoes
the
are
shoes
here.
on display. The
Well,
famous
wait, we haven't brought
infamous
that up
shoes.
yet.
Oh,
we,
sorry.
we
is that
haven't
true?
we haven't brought the shoes up yet.
Sorry.
But what led you
I
to
didn't realize.
these two
Yeah.
brilliant people? What led you to cast them?
Well, Joe Burke got brought to me from our mutual friend Josh Stamen, and ironically, Joe and I
Who plays Josh in the movie.
Plays Josh in the movie. But Joe and I also he was we met on a film called The Scene with Sarah that I produced. That we had an original editor on who we had to replace because that guy no longer had the vision, and Joe came on, and then we kind of reshot half that movie, and he basically then turned into the full editor on that movie. So at first I saw him as that, and I originally had Benita cast already, and it was going to be a short, and I had two other actors kind of rotate through, and one actor, long story short, said he couldn't be known as what the short film's title was, and
Which
I
is?
called Josh and said, "Huh?"
Are you allowed to say what the name of the short film?
Yeah.
It was called Anal Babysitter. The
Oh,
short film was
yes.
called Anal Babysitter.
Which is not what the movie is about, people.
Yes, don't panic.
It's not, yeah.
Don't
it's
panic.
not about that.
But there is some of it in there for those who are excited to hear that.
Yeah, for those of you who would only see the movie for that.
There's a really couple funny scenes
Yeah, it exists.
revolving around anal babysitter, but yes.
And I want to know
Yeah.
how Joe even made it through that sequence of the film with a straight face.
He's very committed as an actor.
It's fun. Honestly, it's so much fun making this thing. I mean, it was like Mike said, we started with a short film idea that it kind of spawned into a web series idea, sort of at one point, and then a month and a half later, we're on set shooting a feature with Lisa and everyone. So, it was fast. It was fun. Mike, created this environment where we got to play and really explain. That's why Lisa and I had such a fun time together because we have these shoes. Well, can we talk about the shoes?
Talk about the
I'm nervous
shoes.
about talking about the shoes.
The shoes need to come out now, apparently.
The shoes
Joe.
have to come out. Everything.
The shoes became a huge character in our scene that just scared my character, and
The shoes are.
oh, there they
I'll
are.
hold it up.
They're on the
Yes.
poster too.
They're on the poster.
They actually became a co-star in the movie.
They're high
And they
heel
start
shoes with
planting-
spiky spikes on the front. They're like a medieval.
and a Louboutin
esque.
red bottom.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about these is that truthfully, when I would wear them in life, because this was a very big thing about a year, whenever we shot the movie,
Mm-hmm.
these were very popular. When I would cross the street in Beverly Hills, if it was a gay man in a car and they saw him, they'd go, "Oh, girl, your shoes are fabulous." If it was a straight man, he would take one look at him and kind of involuntarily cross his legs. He was very scared of them. And so I started to notice that straight men hated the shoes, but gay men loved them. So as part of the scene, I said, "Hey, can I wear these shoes because she's such an overbearing B word?" And he was like, "Absolutely, you can wear them." And then as part of the improv,
So you just brought those shoes in? I'm gonna bring some shoes to the set, and these are the shoes I brought.
I think the character would
Wow,
wear these shoes.
excellent
was
choice.
what I said.
Excellent choice.
And then I brought it up to your character to see what your reaction would be.
Now that part isn't not in the actual film, though, right? The conversation about do they
No.
scare you got cut. It was in the first cut.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny.
But just looking at your face, and Michael did a great job capturing this.
The shoes got near Joe's area.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and then the look
Yeah,
on Joe's face.
I was pushing Lisa. Come on, go deeper.
He absolutely did. And I'm telling you, there have been a few moments in my life as an actress that I felt like, no, that's just wrong. I shouldn't be doing that. This was one of them.
She had her toe
But
in and around
but
my
I can
tushel.
see you're not doing it. You got to get in there. We need to experience
He
it.
literally was like, "You got to get in there." I was like, "Are you?" No. I had just met this guy. And it
But
wound
but
up
but
being,
also like in the movie, like in real life, like in the scene, I don't know her that well either. So she just it's sort of a life imitates art imitates life sort of situation, which was great.
And what's so great about the way that Michael shot it, the way you guys perform it, is you're watching it and it is hilarious and you're
cringy,
laughing
a little cringy.
at the same time, because you're like thinking, oh my god, he's gonna die. One of those spikes is just gonna go.
Yeah, then I take the
Yeah.
shoe off and it's even deeper. But I mean, you know what's
Literally.
so funny about this? Literally, and he actually said something. I won't go into it. Joe explained to me what it moves meant. It's moving. I didn't know.
No spoiler alerts, but my
I didn't
character is when he's got a hot woman's toe in his tushel.
Thank you for
You
that.
might have an animalistic reaction to that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
perfectly.
And
It's friction. Men work by friction. I mean,
Yeah.
the movie,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
the
all
movie
science.
even makes fun of.
You
we
can't
love
shut
making
it
fun of
down.
that in the film, where men keep doing things that are
Not
get us in
necessarily
trouble.
in their best interest, but it's nature versus. But you know what I was going to say is that even though the film has these broader, I call them boffo comedy bits, it's not. There are many movies that I think people, young people in particular, will put together, and the idea is fairly flimsy.
Yeah.
And so the stringing together of disparate scenes is not, it's not compelling, because it's just, oh, what if these guys at band camp just all of a sudden got greased up with oil and then slid head first into the girl's shower? Okay, that was probably, I just wrote an anchor scene for a comedy coming up.
Obviously.
But the truth is that this movie is relatable, and so many people are coming to it and enjoying it, because the world that we're living in, where the sexual politics of what money, this sounds like a big sentence for this year's election, but it's not, of how the genders are sort of in a very new place, where, because
Very much so.
money equals power.
Yeah.
And so being able to navigate through the new world where the women make more, and then what if the guy stays home and raises the kids? And what if he doesn't make hardly anything, but society is telling him he should be the provider, and then people start to fall out of love because there are all these money fights, all of that stuff, but in a really funny movie.
Yeah.
And so people are responding to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what's really so special about this movie, and I talk to Mike about this all the time. It really has that sort of like 80s comedy feel. It's like got all this texture, like that John Hughes era, where it's just like it's
yeah.
hilarious, but it's heartfelt. You can actually literally maybe cry and get so heartfelt in this movie.
I cry 3 times in this movie.
It's a beautiful
every time I
film,
watch
and,
it.
but it's also so funny, and it's hitting on love, and like Mike says, like he's a big believer in love. I'm in a different stage of my life with the whole love stuff.
Yeah,
But
Joe was trying to convince me to rewrite the movie where like some other well, I guess we're not giving it, but he was like, I don't know if I believe in this. I'm like, dude,
I didn't know.
you gotta
Well,
have this
I don't
fun.
want to spoil too much stuff, but I had questions about like, well, in my life, I wouldn't relate to this. And he's like, well, I've been in love for 15 years. This is, and I'm like, I get it now. Like,
Yeah.
and it shows in the movie. And the movie's so
And I
special.
believe in love, even though all of my life experiences point otherwise.
Yeah,
But
I believe in love. I
continue
guess
to
I.
believe.
Yeah, I believe in love.
Yeah.
It's not love. It's just sometimes happy endings or like depressing endings.
That's
I can go different ways.
Well, and
Your
something else.
happy endings is a
something-
whole different thing.
well, that's a different
Very
movie.
much so. But
Yeah. Well, happy ending's still a happy ending, I guess.
But one of the great things that you do
Until
with
you
the
drive
film
home.
also is we also get you open up the idea of what family is and what it means to be a family, and you delineate between Budinsky people knowing your own self and listening to outside sources.
Debbie, I make that point
That's a
all the
great point.
time
Yeah.
talking about this movie, is that, you can be thoroughly happy in a relationship until everybody in your life explains to you why you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I said this one time at one of the festivals, I said, do you ever have that girlfriend that's just all up in your business talking about, like, I don't get it. Why, you shouldn't put up with that. And all of a sudden, the happy relationship with you had is falling
it just
apart.
tanks. Yeah.
Because it feels to me like people want to tear down something they don't have or
Yep.
don't understand. But the other thing, when you were saying the idea of family, is that what I liked about this movie, and I didn't know what he was doing with it until I saw it, because I had my scenes, but I wasn't there for the other stuff, is that Michael, besides putting women in power positions throughout the film, which as a woman reading scripts, you might see one. But for a long time, before this slew of funny actors,
There was
this funny comedy,
none.
nothing.
There was
I
nothing.
wrote a whole piece about it that I sent to Mary McNamara at the LA Times, where have all the funny women gone? And we went from our generation of Whoopies and Bets and Goldies to nothing,
Yeah.
and now we're seeing it again. But very often, especially in comedy, well, not especially in comedies, but you'd have the female, then the female ear. There might be a bossy bitch boss, but they were caricatures. They weren't fleshed out.
Right.
In this movie, he had women in positions of power all the way throughout, and there were also two gay dads raising a son, and it wasn't. He didn't make a big point out of it.
No.
It wasn't like
We're not
here's a
judging our
story
characters.
point.
No.
Right. There wasn't a reason for that. They were just happened to
That's
be.
It's a very modern film.
Yes.
This is
It's
just
very
life.
modern, about
It's-
the relationships modern, the people he interacts with, the way lifestyles are lived. It's a very modern, accepting world that really takes us to the next level. It's really the comedy comes out of such a pure sincerity. It's beautiful.
It's just it's a slice
and
of life.
truth.
And truth.
And truth.
It's just a slice
Slice
of
of life.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as life as a filmmaker, I mean, that's the stories I want to tell. You know, I was inspired by Groundhog Day. I was inspired by As Good as It Gets. I wanted to tell movies that weren't just funny, but had so many layers because it's slice of life, because it's stuff that you could feel real, or life experiences that we've had, you know, and moments that we can relate to. And that's why I think, like, why when people watch the movie of all ages, and we've been all over festivals and winning the different awards and whoever it's been, you know, people are like, wow, it feels real, and I'm inspired by it. I had a woman in South Dakota, and she's moving to Minneapolis, and she felt really inspired by the Realist versus the Dreamer speech, and that she gave her the hope. And we were in Bahamas. We had a guy who said he felt inspired. So I feel that's something I hope to do, I think, with all my work, is to make work that inspires people to bring the best out of them, to have hope and love, to believe they can make change with their career or their lives.
And there were both
You
men
know,
and
whatever
women.
it is.
There are both men and women that have taught in the discussions after the film that talk about the flip on the power, you know, in terms of how the relationship is portrayed and how that mirrors their relationship, and they feel like it's never represented on screen, or if it is, it's like the guy's like a doofy loser, and then he's gonna, you know, played by whoever.
Well, and I think
Who's the guy?
What, Doofy Loser guy?
Who's the doofy loser
Is
guy?
it-
That's Seth Rogen.
Seth
Let's just
Rogen,
call him-
yeah.
Let's just call him Seth Rogen.
Or even Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, any of those guys.
Any of those guys can
Doofy
do that.
loser, and then the whole point is he better flip it and become something if he's going to win the
Yeah.
heart of the fair maiden, and this is not that.
No, and that's one of the great things about Joe's character of Cam is that there's a haplessness.
Yeah.
Not even, you know, goofy loser, but a haplessness because he has that dream.
Yeah.
He has some direction.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd say probably at least 7, 8 times out of 10. It's not because somebody's a loser. It's because they have a dream, but they don't voice it. Cam voices it. You know where Cam is coming from, and
He's smart,
you
and he's
feel his
self-aware.
frustration.
And there's also a lot of, and this is a big word in my life these days, is the word balance. And there's a lot of striving for balance in Cam's life, of, you know, not necessarily disregarding the fact that you have dreams and passions of wanting to do something more with your life, but also going after the family stuff, the love stuff,
Yeah.
the relationship stuff. I mean, that's something that I personally in my own life think about every day. If because I am a guy who's pursuing a career in show business, but also, like, you know, I don't want to just ignore life and ignore family and you just get sucked into this little void of Hollywood. Like, there is a balance in life that you have to experience in anything you do, and I think this movie kind of taps into that balance, which is really
So
fun.
are you saying that you're single, Joe?
I am single. You
Ladies,
can find me
Joe's
on
single.
Joe is
J
single.
Swipe. I'll be on J Swipe all morning.
Yeah, we promote everything here. You know,
I think that ladies should get in on this action on the ground floor, because he's going to be really famous really soon, and then you won't be able to.
you know, and
then
not,
he'll be dating like supermodels. He'll be annoying, and we'll hate him.
and he'll forget all of us.
They're going to be very smart supermodels, though.
Good luck with that.
Really?
Honestly, brains over anything else for me. I need
Okay,
someone
all right.
Sapiosexual.
I'll say that was back to the brains.
Sure.
That's why you asked me a question earlier about how I cast Lisa.
Yes.
Is Shannon Lucia, who's a good friend of ours, had recommended, and then I immediately started scorching the internet to see anything I could see on Lisa, and I thought that she was an awesome, strong, powerful woman. And one thing that I had fun doing, like Joe said, was I didn't let Lisa rehearse with the actors. When I saw, like, she rehearsed one time, and it was like this almost one read through. And when I saw how much gold she had and how much power she had, I was like, okay, I don't want these, you know, Joe and Vinny.
We didn't want to bust our load too soon, as we were trying to say.
Yeah, and so I had fun then sending Lisa away to hair and makeup, and then I rehearsed with them so they didn't get to get any of the energy, and then let Lisa explode. From being
we're doing a whole bunch of improv, and I let loose a barrage, and I can't remember. And he goes, oh, okay, say that again when we roll. And I went, what'd I say?
Yeah. But I have to say,
and I was like, all right, go to hair and makeup. You're done.
Having watched Lisa's career and seen, I'd say at least 75% of everything you've done.
Does your audience have any idea who you're talking about right now? I'm not saying like I'm in the third person. I'm just like, they don't know. Nobody knows my name.
People know who Lisa
If people
Ann
call
Walter
out
is.
my name, like in Chicago, Lisa Ann Walter, I turn around and go, did we go to high school together? Like, I have no idea.
Well, also, in the car ride up here, I told Lisa I was just on YouTube watching her episode of the weakest link that she was on,
win.
and she won
for
her charity, and it's on YouTube. You should Google Lisa Ann Walter weakest link. It's awesome.
Because I
when we were
Carrot
in South
Top's hand.
Dakota, girls were running up to her. They knew who she was.
They
From
knew
the-
her as,
from the
her
Parent
as
Trap.
Chessie.
Yes.
know?
It is an unbelievable honor and blessing to have done a movie that I joke to my friend Rosa all the time that she better recognize that I'm a Disney icon.
Yes, you are.
And I don't have like fins or gills. I'm not the Little Mermaid. I'm louder, but I am a Disney icon.
Yes.
And that's where they recognize me from mostly.
Yeah.
If it's a certain age group or if it's a parent, I can guess that that's usually what it is. Sometimes they change it up and it's Shall We Dance or Bruce Almighty or something, but usually the Parent Trap, and I consider it a huge honor that they feel like, most of them feel like, oh my God, I loved you from when I was a kid. When I felt down, I would put it on and I felt safer with you. And some of them would say to me, I had wished you were my mom in front of their own mothers. And I'm like, look, let's dial it back. I am a mother.
Text
That's
me
not
later.
cool. Like, I'm not the one who's like getting you a car when you have to drive.
Well, and that's
Power of movies.
And I'm glad you mentioned Shall We Dance, because that's another film that has a great.
I love that movie.
It has
Oh, thank
such a
you.
great balance.
It's a love movie.
It is very much a love movie that has a great balance to it, and new ways of expressing love and relationships
inclusionary,
and
yeah.
inclusionary.
Yeah.
And of course, you are hilarious.
Thank you.
In the
Thank
film.
you. I was very proud of
She's a strong force in that movie too.
You know
Yes.
what? It's
I forgot
interesting.
The
that-
little, I forgot. Oh, is it Tucci or is it what's
Stanley
the other guy that
Tucci
you
Yeah.
trained?
is becomes my boyfriend, my dance partner, and
You
my
had
boyfriend.
him so scared for that movie. Like, he's
in
like,
life
you know,
too.
It was the wig.
Huh?
In life too,
Yeah.
I think I had him scared. We had some. I can't say what it is on your radio show because it's not proper.
Oh, I've been
But-
dropping bombs all day, so.
Well, no, we have not. We have kept within FCC rules and
Yes.
regulations.
Me too. I hope me too, because I
Yeah.
was trying not to be.
Well, there's one that.
Lisa would have thrown the shoe at you.
So
don't
when
worry
Richard
about it.
Gere,
Good
when
point.
Richard Gere would say to him, he was teaching him how to dance in the bathroom. So Richard's learning from Stanley, and Stanley says, "Invite the lady in." And then after that, while we were rolling, he would include a second half of that line that was so disgusting, and each one was worse than the one before. You've never seen it, but the last one involved. You know when you're going to punch somebody, what do you make? A
fist.
Okay, so at the end of sort of towards the end of the movie, I was making little samplers, like, you know how you make a gift for somebody on a movie? I was embroidering a sampler, and I embroidered that phrase onto a little pillow that I gave to him, invite the lady in, and the rest of it. And he just thought it was the funniest thing ever. But it's funny because in that movie, I also have a scene where I have to be horrible to a very sweet, lovely man.
Yes, you do.
And scream at him. And it's not easy for me, weirdly. People might think it's easy for me to be
No,
a
'cause
bitchy
you're a nice
character,
person.
but I like to think I am.
She's very sweet. Very
She's
nice.
very sweet.
She's
But it was-
awesome.
Thank you.
I've loved being on
Michael,
this
you've
festival
seen me
with-
be a total B word. You know it.
We've all had
You
our
know
we've
what?
all had
that's,
that.
That's because we're like family. We've become
We are
like
like
family
family.
on this festival tour, and family, you see all sides of each other.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
Love
That's
each
just-
other
that's just
anyway.
part of reality. We're all dimensional people, and that's again back to Independence Day. It's like being dimensional. We're not this one-sided, issue. Things aren't as clear as people like to think they are.
And
we're
it's true
complex
though. We
individuals.
have become family between the different festivals we've gone to, and like Joe and Michael and I did a big Road Warrior trip, like all the way up to
Santa Cruz,
an event, and came back the same night.
11 hours round trip.
Oh,
It was a
God.
little nutty.
14 people in the audience,
Yeah.
but you know what? We were there.
And you know what?
We were there.
I am so thrilled that I got brought in to the whole Dependence Day train at the very beginning.
You're a believer.
Michael will tell you.
We consider you you're like a cousin.
At the very beginning, Michael was on the show. I was reviewing the film. It was.
Yeah, I think you were our first review.
I was the first review.
And we loved that review.
It was very exciting.
So
for me, it was a very exciting review. I mean, obviously, I understand, Lisa, her love for Lisa, but for me to be included in that review it was very heartwarming. So thank you for getting us going.
And now we're getting I'm getting signals from Brian that, Michael, we have to let you go.
Yes, you guys have a great time, and thank you for letting us tell that. And having our theatrical release this week. We're so excited about
don't
that.
worry, we will plug that after we talk to Don Coscarelli. I mean, good God, look at what you get.
The legend, the creator, the icon.
But I think that's an important story to tell, because you've got Don, who started a long time ago,
40 years.
Being an animal and making his dream happen, and Michael's at the beginning of his
making his dream happen,
and doing it. I don't say on his own. I mean, you guys all work together, but that's, I think, a great lesson for people who want to tell their story.
Independent way of going about it. Hey, Mike, safe travels back from Hawaii, buddy.
Thanks, man. Can't wait to be back in LA. See you guys later.
Bye, Michael.
Mahalo.
Thank you. And that was the fabulous writer, director, cinematographer, editor, and producer, Michael David Lynch. Dependence Day is in theaters on the 7th at the Laemmle NoHo in Los Angeles.
Right.
Actually, in North Hollywood, in the Arts District. It's a nice theater.
It's a great theater. I was there the other night. Great theater.
Great Q&A by your friend on
the
Friday show.
The Friday show.
Wow.
We're going to have a great Q&A for our 7:40 screening. Actor Dan Bacadol, who's been in Veep and is on the show Life in Pieces.
Veep, he's the horrible, mean congressman. It's one of the funniest characters I've ever seen on television.
He's a great actor, great friend. He's also in Four Dogs that you saw with Oliver.
That's right.
And then we've got Stephen Tobolowsky doing
Saturday
the Saturday night.
And we have an after party at the Federal Bar across the street both nights. So please come out, support. It's super fun.
And, of course, right now, Brian, do we have Don? We have Don Coscarelli.
Right.
Hello, Don.
Hi, Debbie. How are you today?
Fine. I was already raving. You're here. You've got Lisa Ann Walter here today. Joe Burke is here also.
Hi, Don.
With their film coming up. You've got your films coming up. And as I was telling Lisa earlier before we went on air, it's like, for me, it's a real thrill to have you on the show, considering we go all the way back to Beastmaster, and my paychecks didn't bounce.
She did say that.
Well, I had nothing to do with that. So,
Well,
it was a crazy movie, and it's amazing that so many people ended up seeing it. And it's lucky that you didn't get mauled by any animals.
Well, I was more worried about some of the two-footed animals on that. On that
I guess
shoot.
there were a few of those.
But we're here. I'm so thrilled to have you here to talk about this amazing franchise, Phantasm. We have Phantasm remastered now, in large part due to J.J. Abrams, and then Phantasm Ravager, where we all get to say goodbye to Angus Scrimm with a very loving tribute.
He was a great actor and a great friend, and he will be missed. But it's wonderful that this final Phantasm Ravager, stands as a tribute to him. He's wonderful in the film, and it is his final on-screen performance, unfortunately.
And as you and I talked about, I had the pleasure of doing a Q&A with Angus back in October at the ArcLight with Larry Fessenden and Ron Perlman. And Angus and I sat before the film for about over an hour, and he just went on and on about Ravager and his love for the character of the tall man and his love for you, Don. And so, and to see him...
Well, he was an unlikely star. He never thought that he would end up making his name as a horror movie icon.
No.
It's something that he happened into, or I guess I thrust it upon him by putting him into that role. But, he was so good in the original picture and made the film such a success, and his power and his, there's a generation of kids were terrified by him. And as I had once mentioned, it's just crazy. I used to go to the conventions, and people would want to meet him and kiss him and hug him. It's so funny because I don't know why exactly, but they just loved Angus.
Now, how do you explain this 40-year love of this franchise, the Phantasm fan base, spelled properly, of course, with the PHAN. I had to do that. The fan base it's rabid. It is devoted. They have come along on this ride, even with the one minor little glitch when the studio, interfered. But what is the explanation for the love of this franchise, which is the only franchise that has not been rebooted, and everything has been an original concept, all 5 films?
Well, I certainly think that the original movie was different and unexpected in many ways, because it mixed not just horror but science fiction and fantasy. It had a dreamlike quality, and the one thing that I know and I'm satisfied that we did is the movie did provide shocks and scares. So that was the great tagline at the time they came up with, which was, if this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead, and challenged the audiences, and I guess
awesome.
succeeded. And so that's why it stayed on. I think it also has something to do with the fact that challenging movie like that, and certainly one that scared you. If it was the first one that ever did that, it sticks with you. It's like a first crush. It's something that you remember and you want to share. And so fans have been so kind through the years, and then the subsequent films, and of course the cast was so magnetic, and with Angus at the heart, it just got us all the way to the new Phantasm Ravager, and fans, I think, are finally looking for a little closure, which they will get.
And it's funny, Lisa was saying this just as you were coming on, is that because the film that they are here talking about, Dependence Day, Michael David Lynch, the writer, director, producer, cinematographer, very much in the same position that you were in 40 years ago when you started Phantasm. You're doing everything yourself. And you have dedicated yourself, you've kept your vision alive, you have kept your philosophy, be it in the Phantasm franchise, be it with Bubba Hotep, be it with John Dies at the End, Beastmaster. Your vision is your vision, and you always see it through. And you have maintained this for, 40-some years now. And, I love that now we have a new generation of filmmakers coming up that hopefully are following in the footsteps that you have carved out. I mean,
well, let's not get too far out there, Debbie, but thank you for the kind words. What I would tell you, though, and as I'm certainly Lisa and Michael can attest, is while it's a great time to make films technically because the desktop tools and cameras are so good and so easy, in terms of getting your movie out to an audience is just such a challenge now, and making a dollar on it's even more difficult without the strength of the DVD and Blu-ray market anymore. So you got to be out there, and you got to be able to sell your movie, which is, I see as like-minded filmmakers there out talking to you also. It's really, there's a lot of promotion goes into success of independent films.
And this is Lisa. Hi, Don. But I just want to say I made the same point about everybody almost with an iPhone and Final Cut Pro can do some version of storytelling, and obviously you can bump it up with the pyrotechnics and it seems like some of the genre, and there are rabid fans of the horror genre, but it's only that they go for the shock kill or whatever the most disgusting thing is, and they forget that there's story and character that links it together that makes people want to stick with a franchise like Phantasm for 40 years. So I think that is a testament to you having the integrity of the story, and maybe that's because of the control a little bit, and then obviously you need the help to get
Lisa,
P&A.
Thank you for saying that. That's so kind. It makes me think, and I don't want to date myself here, but the era when I was coming up, in the late 70s, the popular movies were very challenging character stories, like the Last Picture shows and the Five Easy Pieces and things like that. Those are the films I was seeing, and so I think when I made Phantasm, might have been being more
referring
referential to those
right.
than I
Damaged
was
Hero.
Trying to make something, like a tougher version of The Exorcist, which might be tough actually now that I think about it. But that's a good point, and I think that's a wrong turn that some filmmakers take. Just because the tools are out there, it doesn't mean that the movies are going to be good. But I do believe that everybody's got a good story in them if they can just figure it out and work it out. And you go to the festivals, you see a lot of really interesting movies that people putting out. But I will also tell you, I'm meeting a lot of very energetic, inspiring filmmakers who haven't quite developed their craft yet, and so there's a lot of junk out there too.
Well, what we used to call it back when I was, like creating TV shows, I still call it this, is gymming. When there's a bunch of guys that sit around and go, well, Jim, what do you think? You think we ought to super like that? Well, Jim, I don't know. I think we're going to go fast forward on that piece. And it's just a bunch of guys going, hey, how do we tech this up? But again, it starts with story and character.
Well, and something now, because not only do we have Phantasm Ravager, but we have Phantasm Remastered, the original, that now, thanks to technology, you've got this beautiful 4K, this remastering. Now, I've seen it, and of course, I have the original VHS.
Do you have a machine?
I do. I have 4. So
hang on to that. Those things are getting valuable now. People are collecting the VHS.
I even have
top loading.
I even have belts and things. I have top loading, front loading. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, I'm a television engineer's daughter. What do we expect?
Okay.
But I've seen the difference between looking at that original VHS and now looking at this new remastered version. How exciting is it for you to now have the technology that allowed for this remastering of the original?
Oh, it's so incredible because I'm sure, as Lisa and Michael will tell you, as filmmakers, most filmmakers, when we watch our movies, all we see are the flaws. It's terrible. It's hard to enjoy the film because you're going, oh, why did I make that choice? Well, the camera wasn't quite right there. And when you have a movie that's got some technical challenges, to get the ability to go in there, and all I can say is thank God for J.J. Abrams, such a nice guy, and he had been a Phantasm fan when he was in his youth, and I had gotten to know him, and he simply wanted to show Phantasm over at his Bad Robot company, and all I could offer him was this crummy old 35 millimeter print and a DVD standard def, and he said, he couldn't believe we didn't have HD masters or materials yet. And so he just decided to fix that, and we had access to some of their systems, and it was some of their crew over there. And the good news was that we had shot the original film on film in 35 and had kept the negative properly stored in the right temperature. So it was really in good shape. So the original camera negative got scanned. But not to get too technical, but the great part was to go through, and back, when I made that first Phantasm, and it worked, and it had impact and all that, but boy, some of those effects, this was pre any computer visual effects, so we were doing a lot of stuff with tape and paper clips and a lot of fishing line to fly those spheres around.
Sure.
So I was able to go back and erase all the fishing line, and it was fantastic because I can look at the scenes now and not cringe. It was great.
But what has also been accomplished with that remastering, and then you look at Ravager right after that, the bookends of the franchise, and even with the new technology for Ravager, which was not shot on film, the remastering and Ravager, it is so cohesive, visually cohesive. You have not sacrificed the grain or the feel of the original.
Well, that's so nice of you to say. Well, we really made an effort to make that work. But a lot of it had to do with the, let's just face it, this is a one-off, really crazy situation from Phantasm because, I'm sorry, but I read all the movie was great, but I saw the publicity about Richard Linklater's film, and it was, 12 years over Boyhood that they shot that. We've been making these Phantasm movies for 35 years now with the same actors, and it's so cool, actually, that all of them survived and still had their skills, and we were able to wrap the thing up. It makes for an amazing watching to sit down and watch all of them in a row. It's just crazy.
And that's the next thing I have to do. Having watched Remastered and watched Ravager, now I want to go watch all of them consecutively.
Well, Debbie, you're a loyal friend and crew member, so I wouldn't expect anything less. Thanks for offering to do that.
I'm
going to
do
cool.
it too, Don.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because I have to go ahead.
Let me just give my shameless plug now. All 5 movies will be available on iTunes and video on demand on Tuesday, October 4th.
That's tomorrow.
Yes.
And
we're actually putting Phantasm Ravager is opening in theaters too, which they're doing now in L.A. here at the Lumley Fine Arts on Friday.
Yep.
And I'll be down there, so if anybody wants to come and say hi, it'd be great.
Where's the Lumley Fine Arts, Don?
It's on Wilshire Boulevard.
That's on Wilshire. It's
down the kind of eastern,
down the street
Beverly
from
Hills, kind of.
Yeah, it's
Los
not
Angeles
the music
border.
hall. It's down the street. It's the old one that was abandoned for so many years. Yeah.
Isn't that perfect? But they have rehabilitated it. It's quite beautiful.
It
now.
was empty for
like
so
the remastered
long.
Phantasm.
Yeah. Oh, very good,
there
Lisa.
You go.
Yeah. No, I am just so thrilled. But now I have to ask you, what is this rumor about Bubba Hotep Nosferatu?
Well, listen, thanks for setting me up with a softball pitch there. Coincidentally, I think on November 10th, Shout Factory, which does some great movies, is re-releasing finally putting out my film Bubba Hotep on Blu-ray.
About time.
Which is exciting, and it's in high def, and it looks great. That one, it starred Bruce Campbell, the great Bruce Campbell, horror star, and the great Ossie Davis, who was a legend. The guy was a social activist, an author, and an actor, and amazing to have him in our little horror movie about Elvis and a 4,000-year-old mummy. And he actually played President John F. Kennedy Dyed Black. It's just a crazy crazy concept. So at any rate, that one's coming out on Blu-ray soon. But as far as the sequel is still on hold. We were never able to quite get the circumstances right. Bruce Campbell's tied up for the near term on his new TV series.
Bruce Campbell's always tied up anymore. He's the man is working all the time.
Sort of awesome.
Yeah, it's true. But thanks for bringing that up. I'm very proud of that movie.
Well, Don, I can't thank you enough for calling in today. And David Hartman is going to call it. We're going to have David next week.
Oh, fantastic. Well, he's the director of Phantasm Ravager, and he's done an excellent job. And the cool thing, just a little a pitch for David, is he really is a Renaissance man. I mean, he's not only has he directed a horror film like Phantasm Ravager, but he was the creative mastermind behind the Transformers Prime cartoon show, because he's a Emmy-nominated animator and
Winnie the Pooh.
And that's right.
Don't forget Winnie the Pooh.
Tigger and Friends at Disney, so he does it all. That's great.
Don, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. And let's do a Beastmaster hour someday.
Oh, absolutely.
Get Mark Singer and Tanya Roberts lined up.
Okay,
that would be fun.
Well, I'll see Mark, I don't think we'd have a problem with. But yeah, that's a great idea. Let me put the wheels in motion.
Okay, I'm ready whenever you are. So, thanks again, Debbie. Really appreciate the support.
Thanks, Don,
and Lisa,
much.
Michael, best of luck with your picture. I'm going to go seek it out and watch it. Got to support independent film, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
And that was the fabulous Don Coscarelli. We're going to take a quick short break and be right back. Aren't we? No, we're not. No, we're not. Brian says we're not.
We're going to take no break.
We're going to take
and end the show.
No, we're taking a short break, Brian.
Hang on. My computer fell asleep.
Your computer fell asleep?
What?
Well, then I guess we're not taking a break.
Oh, now we can take a break.
We're going to push through this.
Yeah.
Now we can take a break.
Oh, now we can take a break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Behind the Lens. I'm Debbie Elias, film critic and creator and host of Behind the Lens. You can find my interviews and reviews, 146 print and online outlets, around the globe. And every Monday right here, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Adrenaline Radio. And I'm thrilled to have here today Lisa Ann Walter and Joe Burke.
Hello.
Thank you.
For Dependence
It's
Day.
been fun.
I mean, we've just been jamming through here. We had writer-director Michael David Lynch, the force behind Dependence Day, and we just had Don Coscarelli, the godfather and guru of Phantasm franchise with us. And now, because we only have a few minutes left, we're going to rush Brian through, because the 1 week we didn't do the Star Wars countdown, we got some nasty social media.
You gotta do it.
People are,
They're
big
rabid.
deal.
They're rabid
They're
fans.
rabid. All right, Brian.
Mr. Jar Jar Binks, you are listening to Behind the Lens.
Thank you, Jar Jar Binks. Again, I think this segment would work a lot better if we had music behind it. It's so just my voice. Yeah, we're working on it. Thank you. There you go. Keep it like that. Oh well, if you're humming a song from
He's not. He made that up.
He made
Okay.
that
Just
up.
wrote that.
That cannot
That's
be good for you.
Yeah.
No, I love it though.
Okay, I'll do it for you. You want?
Okay. All right, Rogue One, the Star Wars story. It comes out in 73 days, 12 hours, 3 minutes, and 11 seconds to go, guys. Merchandise has hit the shelves for this one. Did you see? I tagged you in a post where
I saw.
Nissan finally announced that they're
Come on.
releasing a car. No, it's fine. You can stop. There we go. I'll go with you.
John Williams just showed up.
And then
And he wants my
He's
autograph.
Fining both of you.
Bob Iger is texting me now.
Bob, I've known him for years. I did the Macarena with Bob Iger. That's my Bob Iger
I've known Bob
story.
Iger since the 1970s.
Was he that handsome then?
He was always that handsome and always smelled really good.
I concur.
He worked with my daddy. Yeah.
Well, let's move along.
Yes, we'll move along.
We've been fangirling about Bob Iger.
And Star Wars Episode 8 comes out in 437 days. And that's your Star Wars.
How many days again for Rogue One?
400. No, Rogue One is 73 days.
Oh, well,
That's
thank
soon.
Oh, hey.
That's coming out.
Well,
it's enough time for me to go watch episode 7.
We're gonna have
Seven.
we're gonna have
Four.
a new president. Pretty much. By the time that comes out.
Let's just walk away from that discussion.
please,
Just walk away.
We cannot. We cannot.
Figured I'd drop that with 1 minute left.
No, we cannot.
Cannot.
We must.
Can't
We must.
can't with that.
But so, yes, and now we have Stone Cold.
Let's go
Silent.
back.
Let's go back. But no, we have. Oh God, we have 2 minutes left
Yes.
to say more about Dependence Day.
Yes, we just wanted to
Say
let
the
people
dates
know.
again.
It's
Say the dates
coming
again.
out this Friday, October 7th at Lamley's NoHo 7 in North Hollywood, California. We have 5 showtimes a day all week long, starting October 7th. You can visit dependenceday.com for all that information, buy tickets, or you can just literally Google Dependence Day in Google and all the
And you,
showtimes
and,
will
and
pop
you
up.
can buy these lovely shirts
And
on
go
the
to
website.
dependency.com, buy the lovely shirts. And the big date that we're for everyone across the nation, October 18th, we're going to be on VOD, all VOD across the country, iTunes, Amazon, online, TV, VOD, everywhere.
And you get to see what I do with this show.
You can see what's in the
Yes.
shoe. You can go on iTunes right now and pre-order it so you can watch it right when it comes out if you want. But it's super funny, and we're so excited. It's been a long time coming.
What's the number one reason people should watch this movie, Joe Burke? Besides Joe Burke.
Besides me, I guess Lisa Ann Walter.
No, don't include me.
Honestly, here's the reason. It's so funny, it's so heartfelt, it's so fresh, and honestly, I haven't seen a movie that's grounded and funny and hilarious and has everything that you want in a good movie in a long time. And I know I'm biased, but I'm serious when I say that. We put a lot of time and passion into this one.
I would say this. There are 2 extremely unexpected sex scenes that will rock your world
That's even better.
and jaw drop you, and a discussion in a poker game with a group of men with a bomb thrown into it by the girlfriend.
You'll see.
That
see.
is
Oh my God.
you and your friends will talk about for a month.
Lord
That's
help
what
us.
I would say.
Okay, well, Brian has now given us 2 music cues to sign off. So that is all the time we have for today. Thank you to Joe.
Thank you so much,
Thank you to Lisa
Debbie.
Ann Walter.
Thank you
Thank
for
you to
having
Don.
us, Debbie.
Thank you to Michael. Next week, Quincy Rose is back with us
Oh,
talking
great.
about
Quincy's
Friends,
great.
F and Friends, F and Friends.
Excellent.
Yeah.
David Hartman will be with us talking about Phantasm Ravager and the filmmakers of Kids in Love. Until then, I'm Debbie Elias. This is Behind the Lens.